Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest, and today we're going to be talking about Ziza, Oldoa, Marjorie, Howlet EX, all of these units that are coming out with revamped masteries for people. We're also going to be talking about the new EX units like Howlet, which are going to be really important, really cool. Let's go ahead and start off with Ziza. Ziza, we're going to talk about first because Ziza is one of those units everybody has leveled. And that's going to be a trend here, right? Because we're also talking about Oldoa, and Oldoa and Ziza are two units that everybody has leveled, everybody has mostly access to, because they have those AP generation TMRs. And with the mastery ability here for Ziza is going to be added, is going to give HP 10% for dark allies, dark attack 15 for dark allies. She's going to get an additional 20 evasion for herself. And that's going to be it. And compared to, say, Oldoa's mastery, when we get to that, this seems really lackluster. But I think the point of Ziza's mastery upgrade was to make her viable for newer players. She's already powerful in Dark Slash compositions. If you maybe don't have a full Dark Slash team, she's going to be able to steal time still. She's going to be able to now buff your Dark allies with that HP and Dark attack, lending that survivability, very similar to Stern's buffs that we talked about a couple weeks ago. He's now, the two of them are now going to be able to buff. They're going to be on equal par. So if you're a player that maybe has these leveled, or you're new and you're building your account, it's not going to feel like, using or pulling or, it's not going to feel like leveling Ziza is just for her TMR. You'll be able to use her in your Dark Slash compositions as well. Oldoa, on the other hand, gets almost a complete revamp of her style with her second mastery. And if there's a unit second mastery that I'm excited for here, is going to be Oldoa. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One, Drain Force gets upgraded. Her resistances get upgraded. So her original master ability was increased acquired AP 30, slash pierce strike and missile resistance 5% for self. Now she's getting an upgrade to Drain Force, which we'll talk about here in a second. She's going to get HP 10% for wind allies and wind attack 15 for wind allies. This is also important to consider that this will boost her own HP 10%. She's going to get an additional HP 15% for herself. Again, think Drain Force. Drain Force is based off of total HP, so this is going to be really powerful for her. She's going to get acquired AP 30, which hasn't changed, but then she's going to get an additional 10% on slash, pierce, strike, and missile resistance, totaling for 15% on each. That's going to make her a monster. She's going to be able to survive hits. She's going to be able to do things that she wasn't previously able to do. She was already very powerful in PvE win slash compositions, and particularly with Howlet EX, as you will see, Oldoa is going to become, Oldoa and Howlet EX are going to really solidify win slash as kind of like the basic roster kit for win slash. And considering a lot of people have her leveled, I can see a world where people kind of want to EX Oldoa now. Now, taking a look at the upgrade to Drain Force, you'll see here, it's the same absorb HP percentage. What's changed, though, is the total AP cost, and what's changed is the range height and the range. So the range has gone to 4, and it's now a range height of 1. Now, range height 0 was really important before because there were strategies to dodge Drain Force by being on the same or on a higher elevation as a unit that would do Drain Force. Now, having a range height of 1, this is going to be much more versatile. Having an additional range on Drain Force, going to be much more versatile. You are going to see Oldoas that are going to be massive with HP, using Drain Force, obliterating you. I would not be surprised if we saw maybe Oldoa sometimes in PvP. I think, even in PvE, the addition of these resistances to her kit are going to make her survive more. The additional HP going to make her survive more. I think she's going to be absolutely, way more viable with these mastery abilities. And I think, if there was any mastery ability that really stood out to me, just over the course of the JP side where we've seen the mastery abilities get upgraded, I think Oldoa's is one of those that is just like, oh, it's so good. And it's also important to note in her EX form as well, her soldier passive does give her an additional 15% HP. So she is getting HP from everywhere. Now, unfortunately for Oron J, Eileen is kind of getting shafted. Her original ability was Pierce Attack 10, TP 10% for self. She's going to get HP 10% for Earth allies, Earth Attack 15 for Earth allies, which is great. She's going to get Pierce Attack 10, that's not going to change. TP 10 for self is not going to change. She's going to get initial AP 20 for self. She's going to get defense penetration 20 for self. That's all well and good. This is just like a generic upgrade for her. I wouldn't consider this game breaking, game changing. It's just kind of leaning in, giving her a few more extra stats and buffing Earth allies. I'm not sure I would use her. I'm not sure this would incentivize me to EX her or use her. But maybe, maybe Oron's just going to be excited to use her a little bit more. That initial AP 20 could be really good for, potentially being able to use an ability out of the door if you wanted. Overall, Eileen, a little bit underwhelming. Similar with Liarte. Liarte gets accuracy 100 for self, which is good. And then aquatic killer 100, whereas previously it was 50. You have to understand how aquatic killer works. Aquatic killer 100 is not a 200% increase in damage against aquatic enemies or a 100% increase in damage. It's a increase of a modifier against a specific type of enemy. So for example, if you are attacking an enemy, right? You are going to have a combination modifier against that enemy of maybe like 560%, right? And then this aquatic killer is going to be 100 of that 560%. So when you are seeing like aquatic killer 100, you have to understand that doesn't mean it's going to double your damage against aquatic units. It's just a modifier that is additive with your other modifiers. Best thing here is probably the accuracy 100. But Liarte, I mean, she's Liarte. I know some people have her leveled. Some people will be excited for this. I'm not particularly excited. Of all the new EXs, I think this is one of the best waves of EX units we've had in a while. Howlett EX has been, I wouldn't say highly anticipated, but he's an EX unit that is pretty exciting, and there's a couple of reasons for this. One, Howlett is just one of those units, he has spirit penetration, he has accuracy, he kind of goes all the way. He gets an enhancement to drain evocation, which is going to increase the amount of damage dealt. It's going to become a 121% modifier instead of an 86% modifier. No change to the range height or anything, but there should be an ability that you're using anyway. The big changes though are going to be with Eraga Sword and his new job level 25 ability. Eraga Sword is going to get increased range, and it looks like it gets kind of piercing in a way. It looks like it's going to be taking up 2 or maybe even 3 squares here. I'm not sure if it doesn't say piercing in the description, but when you look at it, it looks like it's piercing. So we'll have to kind of look and test with that. You're probably not going to be using this very much. It is going to get decreased bravery on it. So it gets 1 more range. It has decreased bravery, overall okay. But the Collectory Blade is where it's really going to be at. He's going to stack on 40 more spirit penetration, 165 modifier, 4 uses, range height 1 with a range of 4. It's a slashing based attack with 2 hits on it. So this is going to be really important for any type of wind slash composition that you're going to want to put together, whether that's going to be for raid, whether that's going to be for any type of other content, potentially Trials of Reckoning. Wind slash, you're going to have Oldoa, you're going to have, now Howlet EX with a multi-hit. You can, of course, use 2B or Tifa or anyone who has other slash-based abilities in their kit. But having these capabilities for Howlett is going to be really good, because Howlett is one of those units that you will put in these situations for a win slash team. So it's nice to see him kind of get this treatment. Lorenzo gets some badass abilities, and if Lorenzo were a UR unit, he would absolutely be breaking the game. I think people would be flocking to Earth. But the fact that he's only an MR unit, I think, is a little bit of a letdown. He gets a buff to Blood of the Dragon, which is the attack 42% for Dragoons. That's going to increase accuracy 40 for 3 turns, so that's a significant accuracy boost. He's going to get an upgrade to Dragon Dive, which is going to break physical barriers on targets for the opponent, which is a huge buff as well. And his job level 25 ability is going to be a cross shape attack that dispels Protect and Shell, Guts, and auto revive on targets. So if you are looking at potentially running like an Earth Elemental composition in a limited guild battle, and you have Lorenzo EX leveled, you may consider putting him in. The fact that it destroys Protect, Shell, Fatal Damage, and Auto Revive on an opponent, I don't know if there's any other unit in the game that dispels all three of those things in a single hit. I could absolutely see a case being made in a limited cost guild battle where you're running like Oberon, Lorenzo, and some other Earth unit, maybe Mont, to potentially just get rid of auto revive and fatal damage. He's got that accuracy plus 40 on Blood of the Dragon now, which is going to be a 3-turn buff, which is going to help him hit his targets. You know, he's in a situation where these buffs are really powerful, and I could actually see him doing some pretty serious damage. Now, unfortunately, he doesn't have any accuracy up in his support kit at all, so that's unfortunate. And just go to his stats real quick. I think it does look like he doesn't get any accuracy in his kit either. So a little bit of a drawback. Dexterity 222. He still has 30% weakness to magic, so there's that to factor in, but 25% resistance to slash. So maybe you could do something to make him work, but he's very unique, and definitely some unique things you could pull off with him. Marjorie EX, probably the most disappointing in the batch here. She gets a upgrade to high speed casting, which will apply Berserk 20 or increases chance to apply Berserk, which applies to her job level 25 ability, which is a fire-based attack with 185% modifier. Now, important to note, she is a time mage main job. So previously she had Meteor. So this is the first fire-based magic attack that she has in her kit in her main job. Previously, you would have had to have sub Black Mage or Red Mage. So this is really important because she only had Meteor previously. It's 185% modifier, range height 2, AoE height 1, 25% chance to inflict Berserk for 3 turns, end of target. It'll also decrease Spirit 30 for 3 turns to the target. Pretty good, increasing by 20, so it's going to be a 45% chance to inflict Berserk is pretty powerful. Do I see this being used? Is this gonna, you know, suddenly make her incredible? Probably not. I could see, again, this being utilized in maybe like a limited class match setting. But again, I really doubt it. I think she would get sniped before she could even get it off. Meteor is going to get upgraded for her as well. It's going to give Spirit Penetration 40 for 3 turns. And it's going to stay the 220% modifier attack with a range height of 2. But that Spirit Penetration is going to enable her to do a little bit more damage. She's going to be a little bit more viable in the long run to actually kind of do damage, do things, interfere with the opponent. So I think that's really nice because previously she had really been, you know, sub Black Mage used as a buffer. I know, particularly if you're doing the Fire Select quest with her, you're going to be using her sub Time Mage. You have to sub Time Mage with her to get the swap positions with the bombs. So when you would sub Time Mage, her only damaging spell was Meteor that would do nothing when she was level 99. So I could see if you are someone who was struggling with the Fire Select quest, I could see her being pretty integral to EX so that she's much more viable and much more powerful in the future version. But also in the future version, you also have Minwu now. So, and you also have Adelard EX. So unless you like are in desperate need of Berserk or magic damage, I would maybe hold off on EXing her until maybe a little bit later. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you do want to support me, you can join me on stream, say hi, super chat, Twitch subscribe, YouTube membership. You can use my affiliate link, dig.gs/coins, or go to dig.gs/offer right now. And have a great day, everybody. It's just wonderful to make content for you and to upload these videos.